Are live. And they will. Let me refresh this so I can see everybody. Let me refresh this so I can see everybody. And day one, everybody, we are live once again. I decided to be very random today. Mo told me to go live today, so I'm going to run with it and see why I was told to go live. And day one, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, we're going to start once we get 10 people in here. We got 4 already. If you're in the house, let me know who you are, who is all in here. Udonando. Let me fix this camera. Okay, that's good. All right. You say, okay, we got 5 people in the house. Who is all in here? I don't know why I can't see the chat. There. Okay. There. Whoa. As always, my name is there. Hey! Iku Messi, okay, Chuku. Kedu nwanne, keke ide. Odogu. Patreon.com/ Damn, we got one more person till we get to 10. The medicine shell. Moi told me, hey, the sun is back. I'm not gonna lie, now that I figured out how to have better resolution, I feel like going live every day. Shit. Hey, join the village. And then I'm going to put Ise. We've passed 10 people. So let me type this little thing that I'm going to pin. And then we'll go ahead and go and begin, okay? Ndewono. Typically, I ask you guys to bring questions, ask me any questions. But if you just have a random topic you want me to talk about too, just drop it. Drop the topics you want to discuss. 2 lives in a week. Yeah, we're going all out. That means 2025 is going to be crazy. All right. Access to 300 plus books. Books and articles. Guys, I have to my last video. I have to post it again. So the last video that I posted, you guys are going to see that I'm posting it again tomorrow morning. I didn't know this, but if you guys were in the last live, I accidentally posted it kind of soon. And I didn't realize for the first like 1/5 of the video, there's no audio, right? So it's just quiet. Then all of a sudden it comes back, which doesn't work for the medicine shell because my formula is to answer whatever the title's question is within the first 5 minutes. So that being said, guys, let us go ahead and begin. All right. Okike keruwa. Alabwala. Ala nne mmadụ na nne mmụọ. Ala na-enye ndụ, na-enye nke ọma dị n'ụwa. Ụmụ gị abịala. Obiọma ka m ji na-ekele ụmụ ndị eke, ndị orie, ndị afọ na ndị nkwọ. Obiọma ka m ji na-ekele ndị mbụ na ndị egede, ndị mmadụ na ndị mmụọ. Obiọma ka m ji na-ekele hara obi na-agụ. Hara obi na-agụ, nne ọgụ, mmụọ nsị, mmụọ akọ, nke anyị ji ama otu anyị ga-eji agọta ndụ n'ụwa. Obiọma ka m ji na-ekele gị. Obiọma ka m ji na-ekele ndị ọkpụ na ndị ichie anyị niile. Ji obiọma na-ekele ndị mmadụ na ndị mmụọ, ndị mbụ na ndị egede. Mmụọ na-esoro anyị na mmụọ anyị ga-afụ ebe anyị na-aga. Obiọma ka m ji na-asị, aha m bụ Derek Duru Ọfọdụrụ nwa Ajiana, Umokwe na Awọmmamma, nwa Emenaha, nwa Ukwuebu, nwa Ejike, nwa Ọfọdụrụ nwa Akaweze. Obiọma ka m ji na-ekele gị na eke na orie na afọ na nkwọ. Ise. All right, let us go ahead and begin. Okay. Yeah, so like I was saying, I'm going to repost the video because the first 1/5, there's no audio. And, we can't be having that. So I'm going to post the video again. If you've already seen it, don't worry about it. If you want to see it a second or a third time, then it is coming up tomorrow with the additional audio. So I guess it's like a full version, right? You guys got like a pieced up version the last time, right? So let us go ahead and begin. Okay, Phoenix is asking, do you get annual divinations or do you do them more frequently? So I do not get divinations. I do not get divinations. Even before I considered getting a divination, I started the process of learning how to do divination, right? I started the process of, I guess the last time I had divination was when my daughter was born. So let me take that back. I get divination when I have children. So when my son was born, I had Afa done. When my daughter was born, I had Afa done. And the reason I had it done was because I wanted to know who they were in the previous life. So we had Afa done by a Dibia in the town of Umaka, A very old gentleman, doesn't want anything to do with the internet. Otherwise, I'd have him mingling with you guys as well. But no, I don't get divination done that often. And then I have done divination on myself a few times because I've learned Afa. I've been learning Afa. Uh, I've had it done. I did it to myself about twice, 2 or 3 times now, right? And the answers I got were actually like it sincerely life changing. Like I made a life changing decision based on one of the answers I got from Alpha. So I'm actually thinking about doing Alpha on these lives. If you guys want me to do Alpha on these lives, let me know, right? Uh-huh. Oh, I see. I need to learn how to divine myself. So it's one of the things we cover in the traditional medicine class, right? It is one of the things we cover in the traditional medicine class. So if you're interested, go to, I'll put a link for you, www. We're just wrapping up the current session, kedu.me. Yeah, that's what it is. Then I'll do a line and say traditional medicine class, parentheses, all 1 and all 2. So divination is something you learn in the traditional medicine class. In the Afa, you learn Afa divination. When you join the traditional medicine class, there's actually you get a textbook that I wrote, right? And the textbook gives you like the full codex for Afa. So it tells you what every single code means and so forth. And I've been using that as kind of that, and as well as our the DBA that teaches the class in conjunction. I've been mixing those two things to help myself learn Afa and so forth. So what if anything? Hold on. Wait. So what if anything happens if one were to misplace the bits of Afa? If I wouldn't think anything would happen. But one of the things you have to understand about Odinani is that if you're approaching your work from an Odinani perspective, what you do is sacred, right? What you do is sacred. What you do is yeah, so the instruments you use to do Afa are sacred instruments. It's highly advisable you not lose them, especially if you're using the apapala. There's a specific ritual for activating the apapala, right? It involves a sacrifice, and then it involves burying the apapala at a market in your community, somewhere that both Madu and Mo are expected to frequent. So yeah. How can I learn to write in Sibidi? The best way to learn to write in Sibidi is by joining the Ekwe Society. If that's not an option for you, or if that's a little too dramatic, um, I can do a little. I can write as much as been made publicly available. Let me put it that way. So in our library, I have uh, I have a folder called Insipidity. And I think there's about 3 books, or there's like 3 journals or 3 books in there that, and 2 of them have like a codex, like what different symbols mean. One of them has up to like 104 different symbols. And with those, you can piece together just about anything that you're trying to say with what was made available. But yeah, one of them has like about 104. So if you're interested, I have a folder in the medicine library. I haven't set up anything for learning in Sibiti, but the traditional way would be joining the Ekwe Society. So yeah, do. Yeah, I just wanted to see what it would be like going live on a non-weekend. I just had the random inspiration. More told me to go live and see how it happens. So, oh yeah, the topic. So I had this topic in mind that I wanted to discuss for the next live, but since this is the next live, as of when I made the decision, then I'll go ahead and discuss it here, right? The okay, hold on. We got another question. What are your goals for 2025? Talk about that, okay? There's a project that I'm working on at home. There's a project that I'm working on at home, and I want to complete the physical aspect of the project. Oh my, hold on. I might not be plugged up, guys. Hold on. I want to complete the physical aspect of the project by 2025. So once that physical aspect is complete, I'll be sharing, or when it's closer to being complete, I'll be sharing the details of that project with you guys. So I have a project at home back in my village, and I'll be sharing the details with you guys pretty soon. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, hold on. I'm still working on my setup. Hold on, guys. Yeah. So there's a project I'm working on at home, and I want to complete the physical portion of it. Complete the physical portion of it by the end of 2025. And then once I'm closer to having that part set up, I'll let everybody know what I'm working on. But it's something that I've wanted to do since I was probably about 11, 10 years old. It's something that I've always felt was necessary. And it's something that means a lot to me. I just can't share what it is until we get closer. So stay tuned, because you guys were a big part of why I even decided that now was the time. Feels like a weekend though. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is, right? Maybe that's what it is. All right, so the topic. Let go before you grow. You gotta let go before you grow. So, as far one of the things that Odinani has taught me is that I have these two hands here. I have these two hands that you're seeing, and these two hands can hold a range of things. But among that, and within that range, there's a limit, right? So there's a limit to what I can hold with my two hands. There's a limit to what I can carry in my two hands. But then I have this wider, bigger me, right? I have my ezumezu, right? Hold on. I have this wider me. I have my ezumezu. And the wider me has many things in its orbit. The different moi that I've entered this world with, the different aspects of myself, they hold on to these different things and so on and so forth. And one of the things I learned, it was even in the process of making my Ichi explain video, my sacrifice explain video, was that in order for most of us, if not all of us, our spiritual hands are full. Our orbit is full. That is just how it exists. It is completely occupied. It is completely full. All of the reality that we manifest, be it through our actions, our thoughts, and so forth, are the result of all the ingredients that our greater spiritual orbit are holding, right? So think of yourself as a pot, and it is a full pot with all types of ingredients already in it. But every single day, every minute, you get a chance to cook something new, to start something new. And in order for you to do something new, to cook something new, to become something new, you have to let go of something old, right? In order for me, I'm going to hold these two things in my hands. In order for me to have a free hand, I got two things in my hand. They're full, right? The two things I'm holding in my hand are determining the nature of my reality right now. In order for me to have a new reality, I would have to put that one down and, excuse me, I would have to put something down and pick up a new thing, right? And so it was something that I was thinking about today. Something I was also thinking about last weekend, shortly after the last live, is the ability to let things go. And that is the essence or the core of personal sacrifice, right? Itraja. When you give sacrifice, or when you offer sacrifice to your altar, or you offer sacrifice before a great endeavor, that sacrifice has two ways of being. One is an offer of peace, an offer of giving, an offer of connection. The same thing you would do in offering your guests a meal or a cup of coffee or a glass of wine if they come to you, right? But another thing is it is the very literal letting go of something so that you can receive something new. So that anytime I go to my altar, if I am going to speak about or bring up or ask for something new, I will make the deliberate effort to let go of something that one of my spiritual hands is already holding, right? I will let go of something one of my spiritual hands is already holding. There's a lot of talk in the world, especially when it comes to the spiritual community, about manifesting, how to manifest things and how to create a new reality through manifesting and so forth. But manifesting has there are mechanics to manifesting, right? There are mechanics to manifesting. If your manifestation will work, something will be lost. Things are not gained out of nowhere. Nothing is made from thin air or and so forth. And the same applies at all levels, both Madonna more, right? Both Madonna more. So, in order for you to gain something new, in order for you to create a new reality, you have to let go of something. Now, the part that the big kick or the big catch to that is it's almost always something that you care about, right? You have to let go of something that you care about to gain something new that you will care about. Okay, something new that will have that will sustain you or grow you or allow you to actualize whatever it is that you have in your mind, right? The bigger the thing you let go of, the more space you have in your ism for something new, right? The more space you have in your ism for something new. Some of these things can be habits, right? Like just on a everyday practical living level. Some of these things can be habits. Some of these things can be beliefs. Some of these things can be ideas, right? Ideas of self, so on and so forth. Some of these things can be commitments, right? But then some of these things can actually be very literal and very physical, right? Very literal and very physical. There's an Ikenga ritual that I often share with people when we have one-to-ones. And this particular Ikenga ritual is for awakening your Ikenga, for igniting your Ikenga for some type of endeavor, for some type of period of time. And one of the steps for this, or the backbone of this, is when you go to your Ikenga the first time, you give your Ikenga something that is difficult for you to attain, but is still attainable, right? Difficult for you to attain, but is still attainable. So oftentimes people at home will sacrifice like chickens, for example, right? But this time they'll give a goat because it's a little bit up there, right? But it's still affordable for the average person, right? And then you tell your Ikenga that when you return, you'll return with something greater. You understand? The next time you return, once the mission is over, you return with something that at that point you weren't able to afford. So most people will bring one cow, two cows, three cows, four cows, and so forth. You can use a very expensive alcohol, all these different things that signify that your hands are able to reach further than before, right? So all these goes into the science of letting go to receive. New Year's is coming up, right? Everybody's going to make their New Year's resolution. A lot of people are going to make their resolutions and their plans for the year. Okay, I'm going to go to the gym more. I'm going to get back in school. All these different things. I'm going to socialize more, that kind of thing. All of that requires letting something go. The more you are able to let go of, the more focused your Ikenga, your kinetic energy is. And then the more possible it is to fit something new in your already full ism, right? So that's what I wanted to share. That's what I wanted to share. All right, let's see what we got here. The spirits that will show up if you did I found the live. For those of you who don't know the backstory, so the first time I actually tried to do Alpha, my mom, who's actually visiting me right now, my mom had a dream that same, like the same night, like at the same time, basically, or maybe a little bit after. And she had a dream that two spirits visited her, and more or less they were like that I owed them something. And I knew exactly what it was when she told me too, because I did the alpha and then I gave a kola nut as a sacrifice. And then I was typing, I was actually working on the textbook. And I wasn't thinking, and I just picked up the kola nut and I ate it that I had offered for the alpha. And so I went to the altar. I was like, I become, I don't, I don't want to owe anybody anything. I'll give you even more than I gave last time, that kind of thing. So after that, I left Alpha alone and I spoke to Dibia Uzo, who is he's a Dibia in Nigeria and he teaches our traditional medicine class. He's also our in-house Dibia for Patreon. And he was giving me his stories and telling me like, no, 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 that like anytime you do something like that, like when you break a barrier, the forces behind it will do something to let you know that it's real. And that kind of like because I had described that the demeanor in my mom's dream, like their demeanor was playful, like they weren't angry. There was like a playful kind of thing. And he's like, yes, that's normal. He even shared his own story and so on and so forth. So yeah, somebody had asked if those spirits are going to show up the next time. Who knows, man? We'll see. We'll see. Okay, sound advice. Audio goes, okay, cool. Feels like a weekend. Greetings, Kedu. Have you considered writing a book? Yeah, yeah. So I'm finishing up a non-fic. I can't even say the genres. A fiction book. I'm finishing up a fiction book that incorporates all these different things that I'm talking about, all these different things that we talk about as a community. Um, I don't have a release date or anything like that, but that one's finishing up. I'm in the editing phase, and the editing phase feels like a rewriting phase because when the inspiration first hits you, you just kind of vomit out a story on paper, and it's a good story. I like it and everything like that, but you have to refine it and make it make sense and that kind of thing. So, the editing phase is a rewriting phase, and then after that, I'll send that to a publisher and then or an editor who I don't know the process, but I'll send it to whoever's supposed to do like the final professional edit, and then from there I'll start talking about when it's going to come out. I'm also I've also written a textbook, right, and for our traditional medicine class. So it covers the different topics we talk about in the class, how to do afa. There are 8 rituals that are shared there, like what they are and how to do them. They're rituals that DBs do before becoming a DBA. But then they're also like once you know the ritual, you can also use it to help people as a DBA. It has like a list of like different sacred items and their like properties, their spiritual properties, their medicinal properties, the meanings behind them, and so forth. All kinds of stuff. But the textbook itself, I continuously add on to it. Right, I continuously add on to it. When I feel like it's ready, I'll make it an official book. So I'm working on 2 books right now. One of them is kind of done. I actually wish I had written the fiction book the way I'm writing the textbook, right? The way I'm writing the textbook. But I always have this inspiration to write. Um, I actually shared an excerpt from the nonfiction book on the patreon.com/the medicine show. And the nonfiction book was a big, big, big inspiration as to why this channel started, right? I had this dream that a very stern looking old woman appeared to me and she was just looking at me. And I knew that if I looked directly at her, I'd wake up, but I just decided to stay still and not look right at her. And I was just compelled by spirit to look at my poems. And I looked at the lines on my poems and I noticed that one, I've always known this, but I think the message was that one is shorter than the other, right? There's 2 pathways in my hand. And then I woke up and for some reason I had the answer. I knew what I had to do next, which was what I'm doing now. Um, but then this story started coming to me. This story started coming to me. It started coming to me. And I'm writing this story. And as I'm writing this story, I'm also making my first set of videos. As I'm making these videos and writing the story, people are telling me, like emailing me, like, hey, I had this dream. This old woman came and made me look at this symbol. Is this something an instability? Just very similar to the dream I had. Some people were telling me like stories of their ancestors, and it was like stuff that like I had written in the book. Like it would be like because I remember one time we were having this conversation on our group study on Patreon, and I was talking about a part in the book, and this person shared this story about his own ancestor who it was similar to something that happens in the book where his like great grandmother got kidnapped and she was going to be sold into slavery, and the great grandfather actually like tracked down the people who kidnapped her, shot them and rescued her. And so that was it was really interesting that all these things were kind of connecting and stuff like that. So yeah. I got two books on the way. I got two books on the way. Damn, such an engaging storyteller. Is it natural or learned? I don't know. I don't know. Do you do any consulting? Yeah, if you want to talk, on patreon.com/the medicine shell. If you're at the higher two tiers, you can schedule a one-to-one, and whatever you want to talk about, Canary, we can talk about. If it's like consulting on something else on a different scale, because I'm also looking into like working with organizations and stuff like that, right? Like that's one of the things I want to do for 2025, right? Just taking what I have and presenting it in different places and so forth. Maybe doing speaking engagements. But yeah, if it's a one-to-one you want to do, we can do that on Patreon. If you have anything else in mind, you can send me an email. I'll put my email address here. Dalu to you too. Gmail.com. Yeah. All right, let's see what people have been asking. Are you ever affected by weird energy from the lives? Like the lives that I have? No, I've never been affected by weird energy. I always come out feeling really good and feeling very inspired. Like a lot of ideas start flying through my mind, right? So that's usually a good sign to me. Are you, Phoenix, are you getting weird energy from the lives? That's kind of, I thought we had a positive, good energy little thing going on here. Yeah? Damn. Okay, cool. Matthew 1:21. She shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Good job, Derek. John Joyner. Peace. I really appreciate your content. Oh, hold on. Appreciate your contents. Is there an Irish or an Abara in your tradition that is a divine messenger, similar to Eshu in? Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a whole host of them. There's a whole host of messengers, right? I will begin with Anyanwu. Right? Anyanwu is the sun. Anyanwu is the sun. What the Creator brings into the world, the Creator brings into the world by way of the sun. It is the sun from which we experience the Creator. It is the sun from which all things radiate out from the Creator. And therefore, when the Creator has a message, when Chukwu Okike Abiyama has a message for us, it comes by way of what is known as Abia, which is rays of light, rays from the sun. Now, Abia itself is an Abara, okay? Abia itself, okay, we're going to have an issue. For some reason, this is not charging. All right, I think I know Abia. Abia itself is an Abara, okay? So Abia itself is an Abara. And that Abara is known very literally as Abara or Abala, right? The Abara that is Abia is literally known as Abara or Abala. So Abia, I'll just call her Abia. Abia as an Abara is very specifically the messenger that comes from Anyanwu, right? The messenger that comes from Anyanwu. There is Agun. Agun is a messenger. Agun is a messenger. Agun carries the message from Chukwu into the individual through different vines of creation. Agun also brings up the message from Allah, right? From Allah into the person. So you're getting the message from the father, you're getting the message from the mother by way of Agun. Anyanwu specifically a messenger by way from the father. Now, if we want to talk about messenger of from just the mother, then we can say Arobinago, right? Arobinago is the messenger. I strongly believe, and I strongly believe that that dream I had with the old woman, that it was that it was Arobinago that visited me. In that dream, I thought it was like is this like an old ancestor or something like that? But now that I understand Arobinago well, I know that's who visited me, and I know that a lot of people send me emails saying that I had this dream. This woman showed me a symbol. That was a common one when I first started the channel. Is a woman just showing different people's symbols, an old woman. I now know that that's Arobinago, right? So Arobinago, messenger, um, Anyanwu, messenger, and then Abala and what I say, Abala and Agon, messengers. So all of those are messengers. All of those are messengers, or like almost like their role is to be a messenger. Um, yeah, that's that. You know, yeah. Jesus got deported. You get my email? Question mark. I don't. If you sent it now, I wouldn't be able to check it. You know, if you sent it now, unless you're talking to somebody else. Odema. What do you do if your chi rejects giving dabs to certain people the evening after? I mean, if your chi rejects giving dabs to certain people, why are you going against the grain? Right? Don't go against the grain. You know, if your chi's rejecting it, your chi's rejecting it for a reason. So just don't dap up. They got some dirty ass hands, right? There's an elu that says that when somebody's planning evil against you, your chi is in attendance, right? So maybe that person was in the bathroom, not washing their hands, picking and poking and pulling at God knows what, right? And your chi saw the evil they were planning against you. They said, "No, no, we're not dapping this motherfucker up, man. That's dapping." So yeah, don't go against the grain, man. Don't go against the grain. I heard Hindu gurus don't shake hands to avoid energetic contamination. Okay, maybe. All right, so where are we at? I think I missed some things. I think I missed some things. All right. So, is there something special about all the children in a family being born on Afo Day? Wow. And the parents being born on Uriya Day. So, if the children are all born on Afo Day, there's a very high chance that a single ancestor is coming back in large numbers. So, one of the things I don't think I emphasize enough is that the same ancestor can reincarnate multiple children, right? And so when that happens, you'll start seeing these patterns like that. Maybe born on the same moon, maybe born on the same market day, excuse me, and so forth. So there's a chance that one ancestor, so check your family to see if there was one ancestor that was particularly great, right? Who had a lot of energy for life, right? And so because okay, so I figured out this is still on topic. It's not going to sound like it though. I figured out the higher numbers in Igbo numerology. My numerology ended at about 8, and I now can go to 16, right? And once you start hitting that 16, you begin to realize why certain people reincarnate multiple times. So the next video I'm doing after this next video I'm releasing tomorrow is a video on Igbo numerology, right? On numerology. I'm going to try to get that done as soon as possible, without skimping on quality or anything like that. But it's gonna be on Igbo numerology, and I'm gonna be sharing things about numbers that I don't I got after God is Divya back here. They even said that it's not even in there. It isn't even in Lepers of the Magical Dawn, but it's something I pieced together. And of course, because it's my own finding, I'll have to present my evidence. So a case will be made. But that being said, from what I saw in Igbo numerology, a single ancestor can incarnate into multiple children, and it's going to be an ancestor with like who's very good at life, right? Who like has the capacity to make their will happen in while they're living and while they're not living. So this person's probably very successful. This person's probably a huge blessing for the family. That person has probably come back through multiple children. We had one of my grand aunts reincarnated into 6 different girls, and my sister being one of them. So it is common and it happens when you have a great ancestor. My grandfather is on his fourth incarnation. Right? So I didn't know. Or like fourth person that he's come back as. So I didn't mind. Is there something special about? Okay, we already did that. So yeah, if it's all the same full day, you may want to check and see if it's all the same ancestor, right? So that'd be interesting. Does one's spiritual capacity increase as the residents of each level of moi increase, i.e., intelligence? Okay, I'm just going to try to understand that creative force. Does one's spiritual capacity increase as the residence of each level of moi increases? What do you mean by the residence of each level? Do you mean the resonance? I'm trying to understand what you mean by the residence of each level of more. So if you can explain that, because I feel like there's a good question buried in there. So I'm trying to get to it. All smiles be. All right. So you know the saying, strike while the iron is hot. Is there anything in Odinani? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's 100%. I wouldn't even be surprised if that saying didn't come from Africa. It sounds like an Ilu, right? Strike while the iron's hot. Is there anything in Odinani? No, I can't think of anything right now that says that, right? Off the top of my head. I can't think of. Hold on. No, I got one. I got one. Um, no, I don't. There's a lot of Ilu that say exactly that, right? There's a lot of proverbs that say that exact same in different ways. It's a common say. It's a common idea at home. So I didn't mind. I sent an email a week. It was, oh yes, okay, all right, yeah. Just remember who I'm talking to. My bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I haven't finished reading it. I haven't finished reading the story. I just took a quick glance over it, but I'll get back to you when I do get to read everything. So this week has been very busy with Christmas and all that stuff. So I didn't mind. That sounds like lightning strike first. Hold on, so I didn't mind. Can one person be an incarnation of more than one ancestor? I've never heard of it happening. I have never heard of it happening. Yeah, I've never heard of it happening. So I'm going to say no, right? I could be wrong, but I'm going to say no based on my knowledge. I've never heard of it happening. One ancestor can create many, but two don't share the same person, if that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, no, I received it. I received it. I opened it and everything like that. So I didn't want. Yeah, thank you though. Mm, all right. Looks like you guys are tired. You guys are out of questions. You guys are out of comments. You guys are out of different things you want to bring up. What is going on, y'all? What is going on? But yeah, but yeah, one ancestor can reincarnate to many. I share the same Onyuwa, which is the person you that came back as you. I share the same Onyuwa with about two more of my cousins. Yeah, Xmas Eve. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My mom came to visit. We're all hanging out here. I've just been running around doing errands, so I'm actually pretty tired. I like that kind of tired where you have energy, but you still I can't even think. I'm that kind of tired, but you still have energy, but it's like I don't know. I'm just kind of I have no energy and a lot of energy at the same time. So I don't mind. So do multiple incarnates get along well? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So Ndiotu, you're Ndiotu. Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah, that's what they say. And from my own experience, that's what I see, right? So I share the same incarnate with 3 cousins, but one of them didn't stay in the village in the time that I was living there. The one that did stay in the village, me and him were like this, right? And we were both the type of guys where we didn't need to talk to like interact. So like he would just come over and we would play different games. We'd always be making things and like creating scenarios and stuff like that. We had a bottle cap. They called it Okushi Banjala. If anybody from home can remember Okushi Banjala, I don't know if kids still play it, but it's like a foosball with bottle caps. We had a league going. We set up an arena. We used to build like when it rained. We used to build like sand houses. but we like decided to make a whole town. We got a frog, which should have killed us because I remember it was a colorful frog. We got a frog, somehow survived the poison, and we're trying to house it, and it wouldn't work. We had a grasshopper fighting league, and then like I had this like super champion who was like the Muhammad Ali of grasshopper fighting. As an older adult, I now realize it was a locust. Just things like that. Like we'd always be getting. We made our own masquerade. Like we'd always be. We're both very creative and very locked in like that. My younger brother, um, and my cousin, my youngest brother and my cousin, both incarnate from my uncle who passed while I was in Nigeria. And again, they get along perfectly well. They're both like the same person, like they're both the exact same person. To an extent, anyways, to an extent, like when they were little, they've grown. Anyways, let me not say they've grown to be too different because I don't know. I lost contact with the other cousin. My sister and her Ndutu, the people she incarnates with, they same similar nature. They're all very generous. They get along. They understand each other in a weird way, but they can be difficult to understand sometimes, right? So so they can be difficult to understand, but they understand each other and they appreciate each other and so forth. And they're very, very, very home oriented, family oriented, that kind of thing. Against all odds. So yeah, yeah, the people who come together tend to get along with each other. They tend to be similar to each other and have like an understanding of each other that's intuitive, right? So all right, so let me go back to the questions. So do multiple incarnates get along well? Yes. Do I need to sign up for Patreon to get an alpha reading? Yes. So the when you sign up for Patreon, if you're at the top two tiers, there's going to be a pinned post that shows up, and it gives you all of the DBS information, how to contact him, and that kind of thing, how to schedule the meeting, and then that's how you do it. But anybody else, no. I used to have it more open, and like people were just misbehaving, so I had to get more. I had to tighten it up, so I did more. Like five grannies. All right. Odinala and Odinali, okay, Odinali and Odinani on ideology of blacksmithing from, oh yeah, so what? Yes, yes, let's do that. Yeah. So what I said earlier was that in Odinala, your work, whatever work you do is sacred. So think about the way a Christian considers a church or a Muslim considers a mosque. This is how an Odinala person would consider their workshop, the place that they do their work, maybe their office, their business, and so forth, right? And so, in it being sacred, that workspace is actually a shrine. Your workspace is a shrine. And your workspace is a shrine to the spirit that gave you the gift to do what you are doing. So it is not just sacred because it is your workspace. It is sacred because something from beyond is using you and using that space to bring this gift into the world. And this particular concept of working, you see it most, or let me say, it's you see it everywhere, but it's very well preserved in three places, in my opinion. In one, weaving, like women who do weaving and things like that, or no, four. Two, the market. Three, the blacksmith and their furnace, right? The blacksmith and their furnace, and then four, the farm. Those are four places that I can find infinite examples of how this understanding of work is exercised. So with the blacksmith, like in Igbo culture, in traditional Igbo culture, a lot of the masquerade societies you see are actually mystery schools. A lot of the masquerade societies you see are mystery schools. So very famously, Epe, the Ekpe Society, where you go and you can learn in Sibidi and things like that, that is a mystery school. Is a mystery school dedicated to what they call the seven-faced spirit. The seventh-faced spirit, right? Or the spirit of sevens, right? Um, and then you go to like a masquerade society like Omabe in the Enugu area, And Omabe is a mystery school for ironsmiths. There's a mystery school for ironsmiths, and you'll see hints of it. Not even hints; it's kind of blatant. You'll see it in their masquerades. When they do their masquerades, they're like they'll be wearing like iron, a lot of iron. One of them wears like a full body armor made of iron and that kind of thing, right? There's a lot of iron in their thing, and the way it works is whomever brought ironsmithing to the community, right? Whomever brought ironsmithing to the community, this person now becomes, when they pass, they now become the moi, the spirit that is channeled in order to do the blacksmithing. The reason is when the divine gives somebody a gift, they give somebody what is known as ofo, O-F-O, ofo. When ofo is received by a person, I've just been randomly sketching with this marker. Hold on, wait. I don't know. The camera is super behind, I guess. This little symbol I made, this is like a spiritual eye. And then anytime you see this in like, I think they still use it in voodoo and things like that. This is like spiritual eye. And then like its journey is traced by these lines and that kind of thing. So as I was saying, I talk about it in the video that I dropped and I'm re-releasing tomorrow morning because the first 1/5 was cut out, right? So what was I going to say? So when you enter Omabe or when you become a member of Omabe, when you become a member of Omabe, you take an oath to the original spirit that brought that thing into the world. Now, that brought smithing into the community, let me say. Now, the reason is because when the divine gives somebody a gift, they give them an ofo, which is like a code of honor or a code of conduct for carrying out the mission, for carrying out the gift, for handling the gift properly. And if that person successfully handled the gift properly, brought it into the world, created wealth in the community, spread the wealth to people, spread the knowledge to people, and so forth, then that person, obviously, that person knew what they were doing. So we're going to follow their example, not just in how they were smithing, but also how they were living their life, right? Sometimes it's, hey, the person's all false says this guy can't steal and he can't eat this food. Then that's just what it's going to be. We're not going to do that so long as we're smiths, right? And so forth. So one of them, for example, now with smithing is like your utensils are sacred. So you have to be very careful of who you allow to touch them. So a lot of like the smiths that work in the traditional way do not allow just anybody to touch their utensils. Some of them won't let anybody touch them unless they're also members of the society, right? And so yeah, as far as smithing, it's your work is your work is a big part of your spiritual practice because that is how your agun, or in your work is what your agun brought into the world for you to share with others. Like the same thing with the dibia, right? So a dibia's spirit is agun, is specifically agun. They venerate agun, right? So if a person is a dibia, then they're gonna follow the all-four agun, the agun's all-four. They join Uagun, the world of Agun. That thing, it comes with its own like rules and way of being and so forth, right? So yeah. All right. So I hope I answered that question. So that was a good one. Okay, hold on. So how many from how many generations back will someone reincarnate? I think I heard somewhere between 7 generations. I have heard that a person comes back 7 or 8 times. I have heard that people come back 7 or 8 times, but I've never died, so I can't say. I've never died, so I can't say. Well, I in this form have never died. Let me say. What is a good what's a good day for filing for divorce if you and your wife were born on Afro Day? Okay, so honestly, I think it's a funny question. It's obviously something I've never thought about. I would file probably on Unkwo. I would file on Unkwo. I would not file on Afro, and I would not file on Eke. Um, yeah, you could also file on Uri, Orien and Kwa, but not Afodeke. Okay? Because Afode does not like divorce. Afode does not like divorce. Now, I hope I'm not pushing some type of premature divorce or encouraging some type of um my unqualified marriage counseling inputs. Please make sure you exercise everything you need to exercise before doing that and talk to professionals before you do something as weighty as getting a divorce. But, anyways, I'm sure you've done all that. Can you explain what is involved in Ipuaro? Yeah, absolutely. So Ipuaro is Ipuaro, like okay, I don't know why I read that wrong. Ipuaro. Oh boy. Ipuaro gets done differently in different communities, right? But I will say this: here are some universal things. There's sacrifice that is done, usually a big sacrifice and a lot of sacrifices. There is a ritual cleansing of the person and a cleansing of the area by which the aro was committed. There is a communal aspect. So very oftentimes the person who committed the hour, once they are cleansed, would have to prepare a meal for everybody in their community, which is also the same thing as everybody in your family. You'd cook the meal and you'd share it with people and that kind of thing, right? There's usually an atonement. The person will atone for what they've done, and then there's a period of isolation after the hour is committed, right? A period of isolation after the hour is committed. Now, very, 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 very traditionally, um, if a family consistently does arrow, right? If like over and over and over, that can actually lead to that family becoming like condemned, right? And once that condemnation happens, it becomes almost impossible for their descendants to like be able to marry people. So arrow is no joke. Sometimes some forms of arrow, I'll say this, so even if after the arrow is done, people still act the way they act, right? Because the arrow is between you and the earth. But a sacrifice is done, a cleansing of the person and of the space where it was done. Typically is done. There's sometimes there's a burial of a tree, right? Sometimes there's the burial of a tree on top of the sacrifice, right? So that's another. So a tree gets uprooted, buried, um, isolation, the preparing of the cooking for everybody and that kind of thing, to making things right, and then the reintegration into the community of the person, right? Typically, Ipwaro is done by very specific people, right? Very specific people, usually Usu people, and Aro people, which they're kind of the same thing. So I don't know why. Okay. Why is it called mystery? Oh, when I said like mystery schools earlier, because the masquerade societies are secret societies, so like they don't. You have to join them to learn what they know. So that's why, for example, not everybody can do insipidity. So they are mystery schools, right? Where what's going on in there, kind of thing, right? How do you know about dream interpretation after an Ichi? Okay. How do we go about dream interpretation after an Ichi appeasement ritual? The first thing I would recommend, and I think people find this as the boring answer, is you know what that dream means, right? So what is your interpretation of that dream? You know what that dream means. So give me your interpretation of that dream, right? Um, the next thing I would advise is going to a DBM, but I feel that I want you to avoid becoming dependent on an external person for interpreting your dreams and your reality. I don't do dream interpretation. If there are symbols that pop up in your dream, I can give you what is generally understood about the symbol, but I can't interpret dreams, and it's just not one of my gifts. So, how does your workspace being a shrine factor in a demand from companies? Oh, do they ever come in return to office? Yeah, I mean that's their shrine, right? That's their shrine, and you're one of their you're one of the parts of their shrine, and you get back in the shrine, right? That's what that is. That's their shrine. I don't know. What is the origin of that symbol? Hmm. Yeah, okay. What is the origin of that symbol? Looks like the majority of the symbols in Palo. Yeah, so I fairly recently learned that an insibity that is used to say like the spiritual eye or the spiritual awareness. So the movement of spirit is usually depicted using that particular symbol. So based on what that symbol is doing, especially the tail of that symbol, you'll now get an idea of what we're programming spirit to do. But that is the movement of spirit, right? The spiritual eye or the oseora, the topic of my video. By the way, I'm releasing a video in the morning. It is the full version of the video I released on accident this weekend, right? I found out literally today that 1/5 of the video was cut out and or was muted. So that's not right, right? Get them damn likes up. Let's go. Yeah. What does Iwaru look like for descendants of slaves and Usu people? As we cleanse ourselves from Aro that may have been committed by our aunt. Guys, what? Okay, all right. Can you, you and I, we're gonna talk about this. Why do you think your ancestors committed Aro? Why do you think your ancestors committed Aro? Let's start from there. Why do you think your ancestor? Why do I get so many people who think their ancestor is just the most cursed motherfucker on planet Earth? Can you explain to me why you believe your ancestors committed Aro? Right. Your sweet grandmother who's minding her business. Good church going woman. Church going, minding her damn business, waiting for the grandkids to come in. Can you explain to me why you believe she committed Aro? I am much appreciated for your response. I'm still waiting for the answer. I'm still waiting for the answer. Can you explain to me why you believe your ancestor? Because I always get these questions about these evil ass ancestors. And, part of me is wondering where the hell that's coming from. Now, I can suspect, like, maybe Christian upbringing, right? Curse of Ham, all that shit. But I don't know. I mean, I can't keep blaming it on those, but they're minding their business. So, can we explain? Am I live still? I think all the comments and questions just ran out. I'm going to hit refresh. I hope we're still live. I hope we are still live. Yeah, I'm still live. Why am I not getting an answer? Right? Okay, so let's stop this ancestral curse thing. Let's stop this. My ancestors are bad, but I'm not. Let's stop this. What if my ancestor did this and did that? Let's just stop that, okay? Let's just stop that. That's some bullshit. The curse of eating swine, my brother. I'm still waiting for why we believe our ancestors. Like, why I always get this question where somebody's ancestor or somebody has to make sure that they fix whatever crime their ancestor did. Conditions of slavery. Renouncing your spirituality is not an abomination. Okay? If your ancestor committed abortions, that's between your ancestor and their abortion. That has nothing to do with anybody else. Nothing like why would that carry over to you? Right? Why would you have to worry about that? You understand? To be honest, from my history, I know we've done a bit of dirt to liberate ourselves. Did you? Right? Or let's do this. Who didn't? Who didn't? Right? Who didn't? Who didn't? I am aware of acts of incest. Okay, but you didn't do the incest, right? Okay? If that happened in your family history, right? All right, let me not assume anything. Maybe you did do it. If you did it, then fine. But you have to talk about you, dealing with your own arrow. That has nothing to do with your ancestors. If your ancestors do it, they have to talk about them doing their own. Okay? It's not really about you. Okay? Especially if it was by force. If it's by force, that's not our. You understand? Okay, good. Oh, is there ever a point? That's funny. Would incest put a curse on the family? No, it wouldn't. Right? It's aru between the peoples that committed it, and the land. Okay, the people that committed it in the land. The people that committed it, specific peoples that committed it, and the land. Okay, so you guys, we have to stop this. I think this entering. If you have an ounce of fear or concern, just shut off the live. You're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. Okay? If you have an ounce of fear or concern, shut off the live. Unsubscribe. You're in the wrong place. All right? I can't be talking about your great grandmother and you're here talking getting scared, right? So fear because there's something going through your head that I don't think I'll ever understand. And I feel that once I understand, I'll start headbutting you. Okay, so let's get if you have an ounce of fear in you right now, just had to get off this shit. Okay, cool. Where are we at? Nice. Okay, so does Odinani also hold the belief that thoughts? Let me see if I missed any other questions when we were on that thing. Yeah, I did miss a lot of questions. Okay. Social conditioning that everything black is bad. That is why I'm going to headbutt you if you keep asking me why you are the one that's going to save your cursed ancestors. Can you stop that bullshit, please? Okay? Can you stop that bullshit, please? If your ancestors are cursed, get off this live. The fuck is wrong with you? The social condition, like I said, I don't know what's running through you guys' heads when you ask me this question. But if it's what I think it is, I'm going to headbutt you. Hey, Danielle, I wish I had all G to give you right now. Danielle, thank you for that. Social conditioning. I am in a situation, right, where I am deeply passionate about something that Black people created. And because I am deeply passionate about something Black people's created, I spend 70% of my time, as long as it involves other people, trying to douse their fears of every single thing that comes out of my mouth. So when I come into this live with my community, who's been listening to me for a long time, and I have a lot of things out there, and I'm still getting this. Oh, what about my grandfather? Oh man, that black evil motherfucker. When I start it makes me itch, right? Why does everyone want to believe their ancestors are cursed? Why does everyone want to believe their ancestor and they're the special one that's not cursed, right? Right? Two cats create a cat. So imagine a cat coming up to me and be like, hey, I think my ancestors are cats. How can I make it right? You understand? If, let's say, your ancestor committed aru, let's say your ancestor committed aro, you understand, right? That's not really any of your business, okay? Just like you committing aro has nothing to do with your children, okay? But why would somebody come from millions and millions of people and just be honed in on the fact that they're all just aro committing evil black people? Why is that the story? You can't say the school taught you that. School didn't teach you that shit, right? I don't even know if it's the Bible. I don't even know if it's the Bible. You know? Let's let that go. Let's let that go. Your ancestors were normal ass, cool people, right? Normal ass, cool. They're probably a little annoying. You're also probably a little annoying. You understand? It's just what it is. You understand, right? Why is that the focus? Why is that the focus? And then you ask the person, he's like, yeah, I descend from Jackie Robinson. I've had conversations with people. I'm like, yeah, my ancestor is Jackie Robinson. All right. That, as specific as that sounds, I've had that happen. I'm just like, you chose to focus on a weird part. All right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, some people committed incest in the past, but you didn't commit incest, so you're cool. You know. All right. Does Odinani also hold the belief that thoughts? Does Odinani also hold the belief that thoughts, feelings, ways of being can become entities that require certain energy to be sustained? Absolutely, 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 absolutely. Yeah. So the same spark that creates a living thing, the same spark that creates physical matter, the same spark that is used to bring things into the world, is a thing that the chi generates, known as ose, known as ose, right? Ose is like very hard to define in English because it's afa, it's an afa word. But if you can think of like okay, the example I always use is, have you ever seen those tests where you'll sprinkle sand on like a glass table and then they play a frequency and it takes a certain shape? That is Ose. That frequency is a shape. So think of Ose as like a controlling frequency, right? Thoughts are Ose. Abia, what you receive from Chuku, is Ose. Ako, what you receive from Allah, is Ose. All of these different things are Ose. They are unmanifest forms. They're controlling thought forms. And your thoughts are the exact same thing, right? As Chuku does, so does your Chi. You understand? As Chuku does, so does your Chi. So your thought forms can very well become something real. You understand? When we think about more, one of the things about more is that you can gather more like you can gather water, right? You can gather more like you can gather water. You can give more form like you can give clay form. But more is going to like more is like it's like sand. It's gonna go back to its natural state. Unless you use ritual to sustain the form that you created, right? What is ritual? Ritual is repetition, patterns, sounds, um, thoughts, intention, heart energy, all these different things. I have a video called Rituals Explained. It tells you all the different things that go into a ritual. But you use ritual to keep certain spirits alive, right? We're in the Christmas season, right? We're in the Christmas season. This is Christmas. So there's a certain spirit that's being kept alive by the buying of this tree, the jingling of jingle bells, the singing of the songs, the wearing of the red, the folklore that gets told about the reindeer and the Santa Claus and the elves. All of that is keeping a very specific spirit alive, okay? All of that is a ritual to bring about a spirit. And then people say the Christmas spirit, right? Oh, I'm feeling the Christmas. It's a feeling, right? And those forms, that form that more that you're giving form to now becomes its own sin. And it makes the things it touches behave a certain way. So the Christmas spirit makes you go buy gifts. It makes you go visit family. It makes you become very depressed if you don't have anybody to visit or be with, and so forth. It makes you maybe reminisce and those kind. It animates whatever it touches to do things. That's why cultures have holidays. This is why things like the teaching of history. People say, "Oh, we learn history not to repeat the mistakes." No, you don't. That's not what it is. Learning history is a form of ancestor veneration, right? You're keeping certain spirits alive by speaking into them, right? So yeah, you can absolutely use thought forms to bring something to life, and then you use ritual to like keep the flame alive. So the Ose is like the spark that lights and starts the fire, and then the ritual is like you throw the twigs in it and you blow on it to keep the flame going and so forth. Good ass question, by the way. Timely. All right, where are we at? Oh, somebody gave a donation. Ah, he said, I miss this community. Ah, come back now. Where have you been? Who am I talking to? Akudo. I love your name, by the way. Akudo. Oh, Aponawu. Oh, okay, is that you? We miss you too, but you only been gone for a few weeks. How's everything going? Thank you very much for your donation. Igeto, nkobala itiri aka ọ ga-adị n'ụwa. Ọ ga-adị otu a na-eke n'orie n'afọ na nkwọ. Yes, you have been gone a little bit. When you said that, I thought it was somebody who's been gone for years. We are ready to see you again. We're ready to hear from you again. I know everything you've got going on, so I know you have maybe a story to share. And when you do, I'm here to listen. So thank you for your donation. Let me go back to questions. Yeah. All right. Jesus is good all the time, and all the time Jesus is good. Ancestors is bad, especially them black ass ancestors. Ancestors is bad all the time, and all the time ancestors is bad. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that crazy? Like, yeah, it's like when does this shit end? Just like this thing is called "Let Go Before You Grow." Let go before you grow. The mind in Odinani is known as the Nkatabia, the basket of Abia, the basket of wisdom, the basket of light. Why would you load your basket? Your basket has a finite amount of things it's going to hold. Why would you load your basket up with ridiculous bullshit ass thoughts like your ancestors have curses and all kinds of goofy shit when you can just let go of that? Because I promise you it's not making you feel good. It is not making you productive. It is not making you more caring or empathetic or intelligent. It's not making you more interesting. It is contributing nothing to you but a sense of superiority to the people that came before you. And the only reason the superiority has to exist is because they're black. So or maybe sometimes white. So, I keep assuming, I think the person asking was probably white. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like all this listen, the if it is the church that is inspiring people to have these thoughts, the church is a 1-2 formula from the Byzantine Roman Empire. The Byzantine Roman Empire had this vast empire that it was having a difficult time administrating because people had all these local loyalties, these local spiritualities, these local things that they were willing to die for. Local lands they were willing to die for because the land came to them by the way of their ancestors. The belief and the practices came to them by way of their ancestors. There's an ilu that our people say when the ancestors hand something to a child, when the ancestors hand a child a gift, the child receives it with 2 hands, right? So now the Byzantines come, the Romans come, they say, we want you to do X, Y, Z. If it goes against what your ancestors hand you, over my dead body, it's not going to happen, right? So then what do the Byzantines say? Well, we got to get these people to get off this. This is getting too messy, right? So we are going to codify Mediterranean, which is where the empire was based, Mediterranean cosmology and beliefs and spirituality, and we're going to call it a religion. And this religion is going to encourage people to let go of those things so that we can manage the coming generations a lot better. And a big part of the formula for getting you to let go of those things is for you to believe that you come from horrible, backwards, evil, cursed people. And that now that the Byzantines are here, you can now be cleansed and freed and saved from them and so forth, right? That is the origin of book pan religion, right? I say book pan religion because Judaism's a little different. But book pan religion, Christianity and Islam, which start from the same thing. That Christianity kicks up, and they do that with Christianity. And then after some time, the traditionalists say, we're not going to accept that Jesus is the blah, blah, blah. That Jesus is just a prophet, and then they rebel. And that rebellion is called Islam. It's the same fucking religion. It's just the Byzantine state trying to get you to let go of your ancestors, let go of your land, give all that to them, look at their book, that kind of thing. Okay, so maybe that's where this whole "what if my ancestors messed up" thing is coming from. Maybe, but I'm tired of blaming them as well. Some of you guys have to knock this shit off. Okay, I'm tired of hearing about these cursed ancestors. I'm tired of hearing about just all this you can't listen, bro. I'm a full-blooded Wafo Igbo man from Umokwe. I want my full-blown Odogu. You're not going to hang out with a goddamn Nigerian for 3 years and not feel more confident in yourself, bro. You guys gotta stop this talking about Igbo spirituality, but oh my, this is some bullshit. Go to, I don't even say go to Nigeria, go to a place with 7 Nigerians and ask them and say that shit. They'll be like, stop that shit, whatever the fuck your ancestors did, own it with your chest. The hell? Oh shit. Set up improvement. Yeah. We're getting there. I'm trying to get this shit to be cinematic. I'm trying to get it to be cinematic. I'll do my thank you for that, Blackie Production. Do you encounter earthbound spirits? Can you explain what you mean by earthbound spirits? But yeah, I think we encounter them all the time. I definitely do. Generation curses are from Christianity. Maybe. I don't want to, it's like it's like He-Man, that old cartoon where no matter what was going on, it was Skeletor's bitch ass that was doing it, right? I don't want Christianity to become the Skeletor of this channel, right? I don't want problem to go back to Christianity. But if it is Christianity, then man, that thing's got our people's head in a full Nelson. God damn. Sometimes I underestimate how tight the knots they have tied around people's head is. So I don't want to believe that it's a skeleton. It was Skeletor the whole time, I want it to be more of a Scooby-Doo. When we unmask it, it might be a different person. So I wonder if there's something other than the Christianity, right? It's suspicious. It sounds like what the Byzantines were trying to get people to do, right? That kind of thing. Just, what do you call it? I'm gonna start saying stuff that won't make any sense to anybody. But just turning people into cattle, right? Pastoralist, right? Just turning people into cattle, turning people to resources, right? In order for you to be cattle, you can't have all these attachments that make you human, right? And one of the attachments that make you human is having full understanding that you come from ancestors that deserve honor and deserve your respect, right? And to come on my live and be disrespecting all talking about my ancestor had to curse this, curse that, curse this, curse that. They had abortions, they did it. Oh, fuck, man. So did you. Whoever asked that, don't listen. When I start talking like this, it means that we're getting close. So I'll do my. This is love. It's not fear-based, but understand that we carry part of their burden. Look at that word, burden. 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 Is a tree burdened? What's a tree's burden? What's the sun's burden? I am doing a live stream about nature. What element of nature has an ancestral burden? What is the burden of any element of nature except some of the people's families on my live stream? Does grass have a burden? No, it's just I don't think it exists in nature. Our ancestors were human. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm also not with like grading people, right? This act of grading people, and I maybe I need to form the words to best explain this idea. How I have to let go of this thing of grading people, right? But just this like walking around, seeing everybody and everything, especially only the people close to us, really. But seeing the people close to us and kind of grading them, this person gets an A, this person gets an F. Oh, my ancestors, they get an F. I don't know if they get an F or not, but maybe there's a chance, and that chance is probably more realistic than not. You know, I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. So I didn't. I didn't. Okay, where am I at? Black kings wake up, he said. Generational curses are from Christianity, Judaism, and this. Exactly. Exactly. That's what it is. Exactly. Right? Now, of course, I'm tired of that always being the Skeletor, right? I'm tired of that always being the I'm trying to think of something more contemporary. The swiper, swiper, no swiping, right? But maybe that's just the headlock we're in. Maybe that's just the headlock we're in. I don't know. I feel like I missed something. I found an Igbo lady that claimed she was being attacked by her spirit husband and claimed to be Mami Wata, and she accused me of stealing her money and jewelry. Was it an initiation? It just sounds like what you described, just a lady telling you exactly what it is. I don't think there's anything. Sounds like a person was pretty transparent. Now, would I date that person? I wouldn't, but we all have our different tastes. We have to spend so much time having to convince our non-black counterparts of our humanity. Yeah. But like, so then when we get into these rooms where it's just us, why the fuck do we keep having to convince ourselves? Why do we have to keep convincing ourselves? Right? Why? Why? Your ancestors are humans. They're humans, okay? They're good people. Jackie Robinson, yo, like, we don't know our history. I don't know my history. Yeah, I'm a descendant of goddamn I can't even think of nobody. I'm a descendant of Booker T. Washington. But that's not important. We don't know our history. You know our history. Yeah, Jackie. Yeah. Like people start telling you who their ancestors are, you'll understand my frustration. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Bro, what? Yeah, it really is that dude, Jackie Robinson. It's on that level. Some of the things are genetically passed down. If you need a religion to tell you this, okay, so addiction, depression, that's just who you are, right? All have improved in the past. Absolutely, right? Yeah, those things are passed down. But like, what are you trying to say? Is there somebody who's getting things passed down that are absolutely positive? Right? If you're getting a D, if your genes are a D or whatever you're getting passed down is a D or an F, are you telling me there are people who don't have things you would consider negative being passed down to them? Okay, so everybody's getting something, right? Why is your focus where it's at? Right? If a person has addiction in their family, is that less human? When you get rid of the addiction, does like heaven open up? Is everybody who's not addicted just like in total bliss? Is everybody who's not depressed in absolute do they just have money rain down on them and you know They get free healthcare. You get free healthcare because you don't have anxiety. Like, what's the difference? You're gonna have something. You're gonna have some things that make you, sweat a little bit. You're gonna have some things that make you feel comfortable. It's just what it is. It's life. Yeah. So when we say ancestor, when we talk about ancestor, all these stuff, we're not talking about like these savior beings and perfect beings and things like that. These are humans. These are normal ass humans, right? These are normal ass humans. You understand? So if I know something about, the more I understand about my grandmother, the more I understand about myself, right? It doesn't mean that I'm trying to make sure I purify my grandmother so that she's now worthy of being my grandmother. Like, what are we saying? Yeah, those things get passed down, but that's just who you are. So this is who I am. Okay, step two. Now what? Step two. Now what? Okay. My grandmother, I constantly lose things. I constantly lose things. And I remember going back to the village a few years ago. And my grandmother came out of her house and she was patting her rapa, her dress. And she's like, something I forgot something. She forgot. I can't remember what item it was. And then all of a sudden I had all these like flashbacks when I was a kid of seeing her come out, patting herself, looking for things, looking for things, and this big shit, like relief just came over me. I was like, oh my God, that's where I get that from. That's what that is, right? It felt nice knowing it came from somewhere. It felt nice. Now, am I going to sit here and preoccupy myself with cleansing my grandmother? What the fuck is that? You understand? You understand, right? Like for like I the way I think is, I think it's different from a lot of people, right? And then I hear stories of my great grandmother, and it's just like, yo, if I would be doing the exact same thing. Like, I get it. I know why she was doing that. I know what her motive is. She's like Bugs Bunny. She's very like getting into stuff and doing things very differently, and things are super creative and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. That makes sense. You know, a lot of that stuff was, less than cool, like less than nice, right? But that's me, you know. So yeah, of course those things get passed down, but like the lens by which you're looking at it, or the which not you, which some people tend to look at it, it makes me scratch my head and it makes me wonder, right? You understand? Is it that we're going to keep just cleansing and cleansing until all 12 million people we descend from are Aru free? It doesn't make any sense. Then correct the habit. Yeah, correct the habit if you have it. Correct the habit if you have it. Know that you have it. One of the places in like American society where you see Odinani being practiced is Alcoholics Anonymous. And I know this because I used to work at a men's homeless shelter, and a lot of the guys were alcoholics and things like that. And so the main cook was an alcoholic, right? And I made the mistake of saying you used to be something along the lines like you used to be an alcoholic, right? When you were an alcoholic, that's what I said. When you were an alcoholic, right? Um, or when you were in your addiction, something like that, right? When you were addicted. And he's like, yo, no, 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 no. I'm always an alcoholic, and I'm always going to be an alcoholic. And he keeps his Alcoholics Anonymous pin on him. And it reminds him of who he is and what he has overcome to exist in the way he does now, which is the one he chooses. But in making those choices, he has to accept that that's a part of him, right? He has to accept that's a part of him, right? He has to accept, if I want to go to Target right now and pick something up, I have to accept how much gas is in my car. I have to accept whether or not I have a flat tire. I have to understand that. If I don't look at my gas tank and it's been empty for 5 days and I just can, all of a sudden I'm stuck, I'm confused. This is about me getting to where I want to get to in life. And in order to do that, you have to understand and accept, right? So you understand and accept who your ancestors were and know that that's in you too, right? Good or bad. It's not about, you know, I'm better than this person, or I'm holier than that person. It's not what we're talking about. Let's talk about real life. Who are you for real? Who are you in real life? Right? That kind of thing. But if I'm sitting here talking about, oh man, in 1312, my great grandmother didn't have gas in her car. Okay. Now, does she have a habit that makes her not have, or maybe not gas, maybe not feed her horses, forget to feed her horses, and you have a habit where you forget to put gas in the damn car? Okay, now you understand it. It's just who you are, right? Know thyself, know thyself. Let me get off this topic. I'm having too much fun with it. I don't know. Yeah. Let go before you grow is the topic. So I think that the commentary you guys have given was apt, or I think that's the word apt, right? It was timely, right? Let go before you grow. Whatever it is, let it go, and then you will grow, right? That kind of thing. Sometimes you need to come from a line of 12 alcoholics for you to actually be who you are. Okay? And then all right. You could have a genetic predisposition and still choose differently. Yes, that's true. I think generational curses give excuse for laziness sometimes. Oh, the plot thickens. I was not raised Jewish or Christian or anything Abrahamic. We do not celebrate Christmas. That was not a hardship. I've been hard on Michelle. Michelle, I hope you're not taking this the wrong way. I appreciate you being here and asking. I think you just you know, when, what do you call that? The jackpot? I guess you were the person that rolled the 23rd time where I was like, okay, somebody's got to get these coins. Because I get that question a lot. You know, the new devil made me do it. Works towards it. All right. What is the definition of ose in the mind? Why is alligator pepper called oseology? Well, I have my theories on the connection between ose and oseology, right? But if you think about the way oseology breaks, so it breaks and it's got little pieces, right? It breaks into these little pieces, and each of those pieces has got a kick. It's got a spice to it, right? And it's good for your brain. It activates the brain. That oseology. It activates the brain. On top of it activating the brain, if you open the pod, it's actually shaped exactly like a brain, right? So I think that's there. But ose itself is just pepper. It's just pepper, right? So something that's charged, a little power, as a little pack of power. You put it in your mouth, it gives you a kick, right? That kind of thing. So that could be the connection, but I don't know. I don't know why the word is used the same in two places. There could also be an inflection difference that I'm not aware of. I'm not the best with tonality with evil, right? That kind of thing. But what's the definition of sale of the mind? The sale of the mind is like a parcel, or yeah, it's just like I think about it like an envelope that carries messages, and it's being exchanged throughout the universe. We are all connected to each other by way of strings of spirit, strings of moi, known as ete, right? Some people call them strings. Some people picture them as like rivers or roads, and traversing these roads at all time are ose from person to person, ose from Allah to person, ose from Abiyama to person. I actually talk about it in the video. I have a video coming out tomorrow morning, right? I have a video coming out tomorrow, let's call it afternoon, right? And that video, this is specifically what it's about. The video is on the third eye, the Oseara. Now, if you do have some time tonight, I've released that video already, as weird as that sounds, but the version I released has cut, like I cut out the first 1/5. So I'm going to release the full version and probably delete the old one, but we'll see anyways. Maybe I'll just keep them both up. I thought in order to do Haggis, you have to do Iwaru. Becoming a DB is different from being a regular person. Becoming a DB is different from being a regular person. Okay? Becoming a DB is different from being a regular person. Okay? So are you asking me this Iwaru ancestor thing based off of Debia work? Or are you asking just for everybody? So if you say for Debia, then that's a whole different world. That's a whole different thing. Right? In order to be a Debia, you have to receive what is called Ofo Agu. Ofo Agu. Agu reincarnates over within a family. So it is connected to lineage, it is connected to the things that happened in the past and that kind of thing. At that point, that makes sense, right? But the percentage of people in the world who are DBS is small, and that's not necessary for everybody, right? And it's not like how do I put it? It's not like it's like okay. If you are coming into your gift as a Debia, right? It's just a way of saying, okay, we're starting over. We're starting over. That kind of thing. Not everybody has to do that. We're starting over. So that just in case there's anything back there, let's clean that up, right? Now you can do it for the past and so forth. Everything I've said today is specifically addressing the recurring idea of generational curses. Ipwaru for Debia is not about generational curses. That's not what it's about. You can come from whatever people are envisioning as the A plus genealogy and so on and so on. I wonder who that would be, by the way. Whatever you guys are picturing as, whatever people are picturing as the A plus genealogy, you can come from that, and you still have to do the Ipwaru. It doesn't matter. It's just that, okay, I'm starting over for me, I'm starting over for the people before me, and so on and so forth, right? Like for example, now, if I were to get a chieftaincy, certain chieftaincy titles, you have to also give the title to your ancestors before you, right? Some of them already have it. Some of them, it doesn't mean that it's because of what they did or who they were. It's just a part of that process. So specifically about becoming a Debia, right? All right, where are we at? It's not. I guess you can reinforce that. Have you heard of Kisra migration into Nigeria? I don't believe Igbos are Hebrew, but I believe Hebrews enter Nigeria through the migration. Whites say Kisra was a Persian king, but they're Jukun. Jukun people are really, really dark skinned. Probably the blackest Persian motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. Plenty of people from Eurasia came into Nigeria. Plenty of Nigerians went to Eurasia. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I don't think any of them started an entire ethnic group, right? I don't think any of them started an entire, especially like the most brazenly looking African one imaginable. Right? So, yeah, there was always an exchange, right? There's always an exchange. All right. I feel like different. Hey, Rude Mechanicals, that was crazy. Oh shit. Yes, definitely carries a tinge of active blackness. I don't. Well, the reason I even pinpoint it because you hear when you go to a white church. So okay, my mom's a Christian, and we lived in a town where we're the only black family because my parents are immigrants. They know what the fuck is going on, and so we lived in a town where we're the only black family. And so I went to a white church a couple of times growing up. Um, it was a Presbyterian church, right? And one of the things I came to notice is what they talk about in there is very different from you will never, ever, ever hear the word generational curses in no goddamn Presbyterian church. You'll never. Once the demographics of the church changes, all of a sudden you start hearing about you start hearing the term white as snow. You start hearing about curses a lot, and so forth, right? So but is this some kind of program, or is it what people are choosing to focus on, right? Sometimes it's not, them people. Sometimes we just choose to focus on things that are just, I don't know, you know. Yeah, I don't think that Persian gave birth to those deeply African Jukun people, rural Jukun people, if I can remember. Okay. Yeah. Mm. Full Nelson, yeah. Caught us in a figure four headlock, what would one have to do to receive Ichi marks? Hey, that's heavy. That's heavy. So to become an Ichi is a declaration, right? It's a declaration. So you're saying that you are you are one with your chi. You and your chi. You like if somebody wants to see your chi, they look directly at you. It's a one-to-one revelation, right? Like you've hit that enlightenment. You've hit that um, the full opening of the Osera, right? You know what it is, right? You are now a living ancestor. Once you make that declaration, if you say I'm ready to do it, you're ready to do it, right? They'll give you Ichi marks and that kind of thing. It's up to you to show us the merit of your Ichi marks. It's not really up to the. It's not like once you get to this point you can do it, but it's you're more or less saying you're enlightened, uh, or you're a living ancestor. And so that Ichi face is your spiritual face, your real face, your light face, your solar face. Now, a couple of things. If your father is still alive, you can't get the marks, to my knowledge. I do think there are communities that have exceptions because I have seen, like, historically, I've seen old pictures of children that had them. Or let me put it this way. I'm sorry, no. If your father does not have Ichi marks, you cannot have them. So if your father is still alive and your father is an Ichi, then you can also have the Ichi. But you can't have your Ichi and your father doesn't have Ichi marks. Yeah. So it's just once that has happened, you have to be married. You have to be married, unless your father has them. You have to be married. And then in the Igbo context, you have to have like built your home, but you can't really get married without building a house anyway. So you have to be a homeowner, and then enlightened, right? And then enlightened, okay? And so then from there, you will show us the light of your Ichi. So that's heavy. Are you considering doing it? Okay, can we do a live where we walk through a masquerade in real time? Oh, that would be crazy. SC, that's a good idea. Are you talking about like watch one in a video and then I'm reacting to it? That'd be cool. That'd be cool. If anybody wants to see that, let me know. So, in keeping with the Byzantine system, wasn't it the movie Matrix that the architects said the major problem in the function of the Matrix was allowing choice? Yeah, I don't know the Matrix too well. I don't know the Matrix too well, but I get these little quotes. If you guys give me these little quotes every now and then, it's like, they know what they're saying. So yeah, SC, yeah, that'd be dope. I think I like that idea. That gotta be dope. If every firstborn female child died of an illness among a nuclear family, and there's no joint found. Michelle, I would talk to a DB and see if there's something going on. I would talk to a DB and see if there's something going on. Okay. That is interesting. Michelle, I will talk to a DB and see what's going on. So if you're interested, we do have a DB on Patreon. I've been very hard on you, and I appreciate you asking everything you've asked today. It's all love. It's all love. So I've been everyone had thought of massive amounts of focus on Greek astrology, even though they're sort of really the same thing. Prophets. Yeah. Just watch Oversimplified. Then you will know your history. Okay. Yeah, Oversimplified is a good channel. I like that channel. Intelligent people interacting. There goes. Okay. He said, no audio. I can hear fine. I can hear audio is good on my end. Turn up the volume. You guys must be on iPhones. Can you guys hear me? Refresh the app. I can hear. Hey, Udochi, Kadukide. Sending great. Man, you guys are going in. Well, that's 2 questions. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I missed a question. Send grandma. I can hear now. Okay, you guys can hear me. Everybody can hear me, right? What does Odinani say about time traveling forward? Creative force, I think I understand your question, but if you want to elaborate, that would be cool. My current answer is I don't know, right? I don't know. Like time traveling forward in its normal, ordinary course. I've been playing around with this like I've been getting really into physics as in this past year. I've been always my whole life I've always been into physics, but I've been really looking at it and listening to different people talk and the different theories and that kind of thing. Thanks to the miracle of YouTube, right? And I've been thinking about what if I don't even know how to ask the question yet or propose it yet, but like in the sense that I don't maybe I don't have the words for it, but what if the past and the future radiate outwards from the present, but they're not real, right? Like, what if they're not real? I don't know how those would be framed in a physics way. I don't know if this is something somebody's proposed. I don't know if I'm just talking shit. But what if instead of us moving from past, present to future, what if the both of them are panning out from the present? Right. Okay, so I'll give you the synopsis of there's a thought forming in my head. It's been forming for the past few weeks, right? I've been thinking of events and non-events, right? I'm gonna bore a lot of people, so bear with me. I've been thinking of, and I'm not a physicist either, so don't think that this is like a thing that it's just me thinking. I've been thinking of this, I like events and non-events, right? Like do like the things that happen affect the course of time, but the things that don't happen also affect the course of time. So it'd be pretty hard to say the things that don't happen don't exist or not a part of like physical reality, right? So what if reality or the movement of time was an uncovering of like maybe call them paths or pathways, but the other pathways that weren't taken also exist. They just weren't chosen by this focused consciousness that's us or whatever. You know what I mean? And then if that is the case, what if the past and the future are radiating outwards from the center? You understand? Rather than us moving from one to another, right? But who knows? I don't know. I could just be talking. Like I hope you guys can understand what I'm saying, right? And I hope I didn't bore anybody to death. But yeah, I'm having there's a thing moving around in my head, right? So I don't know. All right, I guess I like that. I'm live on a different day and we're getting a different crowd in here. Like slightly there. Like I'm seeing some different names. So I don't mind. What does Odinani say about good? My face is really shiny. Hold on. Excuse me, y'all. All right, now we're back. All right. That's a little more normal. So yeah, where does Odinani say we go after death? Can we travel there while alive? Good ass question. Can you travel there while you're alive? Yes. Um, in Odinani, each of us were made out of four elements. We're made of our chi. We're made of our eke. We're made of our agua. We're made of our mo. Every element returns to itself, right? Except Agun, which then begins the process of returning into the world. It reincarnates. So, where do you go after you pass? A part of you goes in different directions, but all of them are the same world that we're in, right? The Agun then begins to return, begins the process of returning and coming back to this world. So, in a way, you return back to this world. You never leave this world. You never leave this universe. This is what you return to over and over. Our ancestors say this because you are made of this universe, right? You are a creation of this universe. You are made of it. You are an expression of this universe, a piece of it, right? You are, um, you know, yeah, you're just a part of it, right? Um, there's an emu that says no matter how fast someone runs, they can never escape Allah, right? They can never outrun Allah. They can never outrun Allah, that kind of thing. So you always return to this world. You always return to this world. The part of you that returns, that's your agun, is the part of you that holds your purpose, is the part of you that holds your connection to your creator as far as your mind, the mind of the creator, which is known as Etsu in Odinani, the mind of creation, the mind of the creator, right? Sentience itself. So that agun continues to return again and again and again, right? Thank you. Are you familiar with Joe Cano? Yeah, definitely. This is a holiday in the Caribbean and historically in the U.S. It happens around Christmas. They say it comes from Moa society and Igbo New Yam Festival. I've heard this as well. I've heard John Canoe being a read saying of Ojikonu, Ojikonu, Ojikonu. Um, because of John Canoe, the book I'm writing, I actually named the clan Ojikonu, the Ojikonu clan, right? So there's some symbolism as to why I chose that name. So, but you kind of hinted at it. So I didn't know. Habara Njoku-ji associated with justice? Yes. Njoku-ji is associated with justice. Are there stories connecting the spirit and Amadioha? That is such a good question. Because Njoku-ji is interchangeable with Amadioha. They are interchangeable. That Njoku-ji is a very interesting more. But I do know that there's a culture in South Sudan, and they call spirits Jok. And that culture is interesting because there was a thing I have it on TikTok where one of the girls in the village, I don't know if she's an actress or what, but like either way, one of the girls in the village in that community was saying, "Come here" to somebody. They said "bia bia bia," and so all the Nigerians were like, "Oh, why are you saying bia? Why are you saying bia? You know, you've been watching too much in Hollywood." She's like, "No, that means come here in my language," and everybody was like, "Whoa!" Right? Culture also calls spirits Njok. Now, if you look at the name Njoku-ji, that means the Njoku of Ji, the Njoku of Ji. Maybe Amadio has the Njoku Igwe, right? Njoku Igwe. There's something there. So I want to study that culture. I also want to study cultures in the Congo a little bit more because I feel like there's some threads. There's some very interesting threads there, right? Oh, Michelle, yeah, thank you as well. Thank you as well. Mahmoud Fati said 9/11. Yo, chill. Hey, chill out, Mahmoud. We don't need that. Where are we at? Okay. Yeah, but yeah, Njoku is also associated with justice and is interchangeable with Amadioha. Ekwensu, Anyanwu, Amadioha, Igwe, Kamalo, Kalo, and Njoku, they can be interchanged based on the community, right? Sometimes, and one of the things about Abara too is that a community can choose what Abara does what based on the understanding of the properties of that Abara. So you'll go to some communities where Arobinagon has an association with justice. Well, that makes sense because it's a connection to Allah and that kind of thing, right? You'll go to some communities where Agon has a connection with punishment, right? And that kind of thing. You'll go to some places where they use Amadioha to fight. They use Ekwensu to fight. You'll go to some places where they use Agon to fight, right? So a community can understand the properties of an Abara and then choose how to apply them into their day-to-day life. And then that's how you get these associations with associated with Yam, associated with that kind of thing. The sometimes it's also existential. Like, of course, Nemiri is associated with water. She is water, right? But if I understand Nemiri well, maybe I might have her also protect children. I may have her also involved in farming, right? And that kind of thing. So it's almost like, it like somebody who's developing a technology and you use a certain metal that conducts very well, but then your neighbor who's doing the same technology is using another metal. They feel this one conducts better and it solves another problem connected to it based on understanding the properties of the two metals. So a spirit can be used to do whatever the person feels it's most appropriate for. And part of that comes being able to do that. You have to understand the pros and the cons, the ups and the downs of the whole thing, and then say, okay, based on the understanding of the nature of this, it would be best to use it this way or interact with it in this way. Or sometimes the spirit tells you, right? The spirit tells you, hey, I don't do that, I do this. So, yeah. Base gone. For instance, leaving the Earth in a spaceship, hitting near light speed, then returning to Earth. The person on the ship ages 2 years. Yeah, yeah. So this is kind of what was making me think that. Ages 2 years, but 41 million years would have passed on Earth. Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of what's making me think it, right? What if it's something that pans out from the present, but there's only a present? Because, like, in reality, is there a future, right? Is there a past? No, these are ideas. They're abstractions. They're a label we put on a phenomena that we can't measure in any other way outside of that label, right? So, is there something in Igbo culture about using a child like a scapegoat, where the family success will increase because the God damn. Oh, that's like unbelievably wicked. So, I don't think so. You also have to understand in Igbo culture, a family is like multiple hundreds of people. So you would have to get many hundreds of people to agree to do something that bizarre and insane. You also have to remember having a child is a gift. And the reason I'm specifically saying this is because it's just in the modern era that giving birth has become as seamless as it is, right? But before, right, there's chances of the mother passing, chances of the child passing. They were all significantly higher, right? And so to now risk your life to have a child, have the child, and then start doing that. But people abuse their kids and say horrible things and put horrible things on their kids all the time. That's not rare, but you'd have to get like 200 people to agree to do the same thing, right? And so that doesn't, I'm sure it can be done. I'm sure the mechanics of spirituality, using the mechanics of spirituality and that kind of thing, you can do just about anything. You can make any choice you want to make. But I don't think it's like a practice or a common thing. I think it would just be a random-ish act of child abuse, right? And again, you'd have to get hundreds of people to agree, right? The whole takes a village to raise a child thing. You understand? Parallel universal wild theory, time based on the core branching. I guess I like it. Quantum leap, yeah. All right, so let me go. Okay, your theory about time seems to be talking about multiverse. Maybe, yeah, Divine King. I think so. I think so. Like, and the reason I say is because I feel that it's almost like, okay, like with the passing of time, again, the things you don't do have a an actual physical consequence in the world, like a real thing, like a thing that you did do, right? Non-events have as much, not as much, but have measurable consequence in events. So non-events are also real, right? Non-events are also possible. Like, do I turn left or turn right? You kind of did both, right? But I don't know what to call it. Like your mainframe or your main you did the left, right? That kind of thing. But the fact that you didn't turn right has an actual physical bearing on reality, the same way that your car overheating would, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm just playing with ideas, though. I'm just playing with ideas. So I've been really getting into physics lately and theoretical physics and stuff like that. So. Udo, thank you. Rayx, Udo is interchangeable with Amadioha. Well, perfect. Good one. Good one. I'm still unraveling that one. Odinani version of deep meditation and how to get to different states of consciousness. Thanks for answering my first question. Brackens call CPS. Yeah, Brackens, I hope what you described isn't something that's happening to you or to somebody you know, but that's horrible. You need, people are in some unfortunate situations, you know. But yeah, deep meditation. Deep meditation. Meditation is the foundation for a wide range of things, like a wide range of practices. It's almost like what walking is to, like it's like walking, right? Once you learn how to walk, you learn how to walk a little faster, then you can use that gift of walking to play basketball, take a hike, do all these different things, right? Meditation is the same way. You begin, you are able to, do the basic pedaling. As you advance in your practice and as you grow and you're able to do more, um, you now begin to realize that a lot of things we talk about on this channel are right there in your face and they're very real and it's happening right now, right? So meditation into different states of consciousness, absolutely possible. Ekili, astral projection, as we call it in English, is requires meditation. Ego more, the transference of your conscious from one vessel to another, the exchanging of consciousnesses between vessels, exchanging of spirits between that kind of thing, requires meditation. Communication with things that are beyond our imaginable realm of communication as it stands, right? You can meditate into communicating with a tree. You can meditate into communicating with the different Abara that I'm speaking of and so forth. One of the most, and I tell this story in our group, Odinani group study on Patreon. I've told this story probably at least more than once, right? And it's the story of when I realized the power of meditation. And I'll tell it now. I think I've probably even told it here. So some of you guys have probably heard this before, but some of you guys, this is a brand new story, right? So there was a day where I was half asleep. And I decided that I am going to go ahead and go to sleep, but I'm going to meditate into my sleep, right? And so I closed my eyes. I just started meditative breathing, just my same meditation thing. And after a while, I was asleep, right? But I didn't realize I'd fallen asleep. You know how sleep is, because I felt like I was awake, but then all of a sudden this leopard showed up next to me. And the leopard was trying to scare me, right? It was trying to do that whole thing. But if I realized that I was in control of it, like it was an extension of my imagination. And I was like, that's interesting. And in this level of sleep I was in, I can hear what my wife was doing in the other room, right? That state you are, the theta state, where you are between sleep and being awake. So like whatever's happening on the TV just kind of seeps into your dream, and your dream kind of like, or like maybe you're having a like maybe like you're having a conversation and they still think you're having that conversation, or like I'm not making sense. You're having a conversation and then you still think you're in that conversation, but you're actually asleep and you're not, right? And so I was in that state where things were weird, but it was still familiar. It looked like real life. and I felt a level of control of what was going on. And so I said, okay, I'm going to start meditating at this point. What if I meditated right here, right? And I just kept doing the same thing. I was meditating and meditating. This is a lucid dream I had. And as I was, all of a sudden, I felt myself sinking into the bed. I felt myself sinking into the bed. And I kid you not, there was this like feeling that started from my feet and it started rising up. And it was like, it was fear. It was like the same feeling you get with fear, or like, let me not call it fear. Okay. If you were to call it fear, it becomes fear. If you called it fear, it became fear. If you called it excitement, it would become excitement, right? If whatever rise of energy and rise of nerves you wanted to call it, it would become it. But I felt it rising and rising and rising. I didn't give it a name. I just wrote it out. I let myself feel it. I let myself feel it. And I continued meditating like it wasn't happening, right? And I kept feeling it. And at that point, I've always just due to it, and I've talked about how anxiety and excitement are kind of the same thing. It's the same thing, right? And then that showed me right there. It's like, oh yeah, this is just what this is. Right? If I give it a name, it'll become that thing. But if I don't give it a name, then I feel it in its full form. So it was high, and I was sinking into the bed, right? Okay, this is gonna sound like out there, but I felt like this is probably what you feel when you're about to die, right? And I remember I sank into the bed fully, and I felt like I was in egg yolk. I don't know, this is the only way I can describe it. I was floating but I was like egg yolk. I was an egg yolk. And then everything got really dark, and then I entered this space, and it was dark. Everything was dark, right? I entered the space, and then all of a sudden there was like some kind of light. It was light, right? But it wasn't bright. And it was like, the way I describe it, I was inside of a tree root. It felt like a tree root. And the walls had, every inch of the walls were covered in a writing. Every inch of the walls were covered in a writing, but the writing looked like Tetris. It looked like Tetris, not Tetris, Space Invaders. Like the little characters from Space Invaders. It just looked like whoever thought of that was, that was like one of the letters of this language that was all over the wall. And it was very like, each symbol had its own square. It was very geometric, but the vessel or the space I was in was very organic. It was like a tree root, and I kept walking and walking and walking. I felt myself as I kept walking, I felt myself waking up and snapping out of this space, right? But when I was in that tree root, I had no control of anything. I had no control of anything. It was just like the same way I don't control the physical, or I mean, I guess I can hit it and stuff like that, but the same way I don't control the physical contents of this room that I'm in. When I was inside of that tree root, I felt that I had no control of anything. I was a guest in a space. Whereas in the previous level, I controlled it. I owned the space. And I felt myself waking up and fading into black. And then as I faded into black, all I saw was a flip phone. And the flip phone was open. And there was a phone call from Flora Ewe. Ewe, I pronounced it Ewe. Flora Ewe, right? This isn't a person I know. I don't know who this is. If you guys know who it is, and I remember, I'm like, I am not going to remember the number. Let me just remember the first three. It was a Los Angeles number. Los Angeles number, Flora, Flora space EWE. So if y'all want to go find this person, let me know if it's a real person. I've never heard the name before. I have no history with that. I've never been to California. I went to Vegas this year. That's the furthest west I've gone in the US, right? But yeah, that's all that was from meditation. So if you are good at dreaming, try to meditate mid-dream and see what happens. It was an interesting experience I had, but I guess whatever inspired that long-ass story, and shout out to you. Thank you very much. Do you think these EMPs locate prey to the shrines and altars? Oh, of course, of course, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm hoping somebody corrects me one day, but I went to there's a Vatican gift shop website, and it has a bunch of artifacts, a lot of evil artifacts there. And the Igbo artifacts cost significantly more than the European ones. The Igbo artifacts would be like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and then the European one would be like $30 discount, $40, maybe $100, that kind of thing. So yeah, these things aren't being exchanged for lights. They know what it is. Derek, I relate to your experience. Okay, let's hear it. I used to experience as a child, my body would increase to the size of a giant, or I would jump into different people in dreams. Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. Up to my 20s. Wow. You still have that gift, you know? Keep playing with it. See where it takes you. Odumma. Madombe script looks like Space Invaders. I'll look it up. It has jagged. I think I know what you're talking about. Mandombe script. I think I know what you're talking about. Oh, whoa. Okay, I did not know what you were talking about. My bad. Damn, that's interesting. I can't say it looked exactly like this, but kind of close. There's an organicness to this that the other one didn't have. This is cool though. This is very cool. Wow. This is very cool. That's awesome. Oh, never mind. I hope that spreads. That's a very cool script. I'm not in the South, but I'd rather not fear, flee. Okay. If you become a root doctor, maybe you can. I don't know. How do you meditate, Divine King? So I taught myself how to meditate probably before this channel, before I kind of accepted my path and so forth. But what I taught myself to do is I sit down, I close my eyes, and I'm going to tap out, yo. I start breathing, right? I just breathe, and I try to reach a point where the only thing I'm paying attention to is my breathing. For me, sometimes it requires me to hold my breath, right? So I have no choice than to release this big ass breath, right? So I start, I'm breathing in and out, I'm breathing in and out. And I start from the top of my head, and I go, okay, relax your scalp, right? And I relax my scalp. I move down to the forehead. Like right now, I'm scrunching my forehead. Relax your forehead, relax your eyes, relax your ears, relax your nose, relax your mouth, and I go all the way down my body. I go all the way down my body. And once I've hit the toes and that kind of thing, I continue just breathing. Now I focus on just making sure the only thing I'm thinking about is the fact that I'm breathing. The only thing I'm thinking about is the fact that I'm breathing. And then I don't time it. I never say 5 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 30-second, right? I don't time it. What I'll do is I'll just like in the middle of like when I'm really zoned, like I'm really there, I just open my eyes and I get up and I go about my day. Really quickly too. Really quickly. And so that I'm in that state. So I'm still in that state. And so forth. So even when it fades, it becomes a reference point as to where I'm at later in the day. Right? It becomes a reference point. But that's kind of what I do, right? And so the reason I started it was because my mind is very busy. And on top of my mind being very busy, I can be very distractible. That's why I close my eyes a lot when I'm talking. Because because every single thing I'm seeing, I'm taking it in. And sometimes it interrupts what I'm thinking about, right? Like I love watches, but I can't wear watches too much because I always think about the fact there's a watch on me. It's crazy, right? And that kind of thing. So, but yeah, which I'm pretty sure that's a neurospicy thing, as the IG neurodivergent community would say. It was so funny because there's this. I was at my son's. My son did wrestling. He just finished the season. I was at his wrestling practice, and there's this guy said that his daughter was neurodivergent, and that she wanted to play soccer, but she refuses to wear socks. She doesn't want to wear socks. And then that's why I asked. I was like, well, why? Okay, why does she doesn't like it or what? And the reason I ask is because yo, I hate wearing socks. I've started now because I'm seeing the benefits to like the integrity of your shoe. But I don't like socks. I don't even like shoes, but I don't like socks, that kind of thing, stuff like that. So because it was always just on my mind. So I started meditating so I can stop thinking about unnecessary stuff, and it helped me significantly. So where I'm at right now compared to 10 years ago, oh, big difference, big difference. Sorry, Derek, before you go, do you know the previous person? Do you know what the previous person mentioned? Agunkunei. Um, I wish I had an answer. I don't. I wish I had an answer. I don't. I am gonna hop, guys. This has been a good discussion. Hello, my brother. What? Hello, brother. My name is Om. Om, good to meet you. You came a little late, so hopefully you'll be here next time. I typically go live on Saturdays. Guys, thank you for being here. Spirit told me to come talk to you guys, and here I am. And I had fun. I hope you guys had fun too. We are wrapping up our traditional medicine class. So if you're signing up for the traditional medicine class for the coming class, sign up at www.kedu.me, kedu.me. I will give a link here. Class is taught by a practicing Dibia. The second level of the class is an apprenticeship. Kedu. Hey, Angel. I hope you're not just coming now. I'll say traditional medicine class is Ogun 1 and Ogun 2. You too, enjoy your holidays. Merry Christmas to everybody that celebrates. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, every single thing you celebrate. Huh? Happy all of that. So yeah, for those of you who are interested, I'm just coming now. Yeah, you missed a heated one. So sign up at www.kedu.me for the traditional medicine class. Those of you who have told yourself, who have vowed to yourself, who have gone to the altar and said, I am learning the Igbo language in 2025, we are currently signing up for the winter class for Asusun Igbo class. I'll put parentheses, Igbo language class. So, guys, I love the language class. I love the language class. I think it is taught by an A1 phenomenal, the first two levels. Or, I mean, all levels, but we don't have a level 3 teacher right now. I have to hire one because we just had 2 people sign up for level 3. So, but yeah, the person currently teaching, or the people currently teaching, do a phenomenal job. We've helped people reach conversational level in 3 months, which I am super proud of, and I think is incredible. Is incredible. I've actually been doing a lot of outreach and talking to different like community organizations, and they're very interested in being a part of Kedu. So this next class is going to be a really mixed up group. Um, but yeah, if you've told yourself you're learning Igbo in 2025, www.kedu.me, come learn the Igbo language. We don't teach it like, and we teach Igbo as Igbo. So the same way that I'm breaking down these concepts, the same way we break down the Igbo language, and it makes learning it so easy and so intuitive and so natural. Okay. So I'll be joining this time. You say yes, Maya. I'm looking forward to seeing you. All right. That being said, guys, ono gade, ono geto, nkabla ono tiriaka, gade noa. Oh wait. Before I finish, I am releasing a video tomorrow morning. Let me get the link to that so you guys can hit the notification bell. Hold on. Let me find that. I am dropping a video tomorrow morning. I'm also there's a style of making videos I'm gonna experiment with, because I've been saying this for a long time, but I want to be able to post a video daily, right? I want, and my documentary style videos, which I love with all my heart and beyond, and I put my full self into it. Show me your ceiling fan, please. I'm an enthusiast. The same ceiling fan as your mother. All right, so guys, this is the next video I'm releasing right here. That link. Click the link and hit the notification bell. I'm actually gonna watch and see how many notification bells get hit. Hold on. Let me see. I'm of course hitting notify me. I'm waiting to see how many notification bells get hit. Hit that notification bell. Click the link and hit the notification bell. Click the link and hit the notification bell. This is the video. If you watch the video I released this weekend, it is the same video. So if you already heard it, then you're cool. The difference is this is the full version. The original version I dropped, I didn't realize this, but the first 1/5 of the video, there was no audio. And if you know the way I structure my videos, whatever is in the title, I explain exactly what it is immediately. I try to explain exactly what it is immediately. So if you only got 1 second, you at least got the lesson. So click the link and hit the notification bell. It's dropping tomorrow afternoon. And then I don't know if I'm going to delete the previous one that's messed up or just keep it. Who knows? But either way, guys, uno gade, uno geto, nkobala, uno tiriaka, o gade no wa. Gade o twa neke. No rie, na fo, na nkwo. He said. Now that I'm HD, it takes me forever to turn this thing off. Hold on.